Yeah, so Savage Worlds is a role-playing game that I picked up last year and absolutely fell in love with. It's completely generic in the sense that you can set it in any world you want, right? So it works for sci-fi, works for fantasy, works for horror, Wild West, whatever the kind of thing you want to do. And the new book has come out quite recently, which is the new sort of version of the core game, which is called the Adventurers Edition, which is really awesome. And it comes with everything you need to start playing the game with. It's really, really simple, really easy to play. I've used it personally for playing through a game sort of set and themed around the idea of the mummy and Indiana Jones, and it was absolutely hilarious. Really, really good fun. The real sort of focus is on you guys being the heroes, so you're like larger than life and bombastic and a bit crazy. Minions die in like one hit and all that kind of thing, but then you come up against like nefarious villains, dragons, that kind of thing that take a little bit more taking down and stuff. I'm currently thinking about trying to theme something to do like a superhero role play, which would be kind of cool. But the main sort of focus of what this news is that as well as the core book, there's a whole bunch of extra stuff coming out for it as well. So the core book gives you pretty much everything you need to learn to play the game. But on top of that, you've also got one called the World Builder and Games Master's Guide. And this is sort of set up to help people take that extra step towards creating things like convention games, setting things up for younger gamers as well, and sort of working on a little bit sort of extra stuff to help you build settings for the game as well. Because one of the big things is that it works for a whole bunch of different genres. So this kind of gives you some extra sort of bits and pieces to help you along in that sort of regard. On top of that, they've also put together a large Essentials box set, which contains everything you pretty much ever need to use to play the game as well, which includes a whole bunch of things like cards and tokens and things like that. The other cool thing about Savage Worlds is that it's a role-play game that has a real focus on being used alongside miniatures. So if you're starting in wargaming and you're moving over into role-playing games, Savage Worlds is a really, really good system to sort of take that sort of bridge between the two. So I definitely go and check that out as well. On top of that, they've got a whole bunch of extra stuff as well. So all the stuff within the Essentials box set that I was just talking about there, like action cards and stuff for creating NPCs and scenarios and that kind of thing, that can all be bought separately too. The book has a map and a change up as well, which I think is really cool. So they've added in a lot of stuff to, including new artwork, some sort of tweaks to some of the ways that you create characters. They've included loads of new talents and skills into the mix as well. And they've made it a lot more readable too, which I think is a really good idea. And the book is pretty small and tiny as well, so you can sort of carry that around and do what you want with it. I've had a lot of fun with this game, and hopefully a lot of people out there will go and give Savage Worlds a go themselves as well.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome.
There's a lot of supplemental material for Savage Worlds out and about if you go hooking. So, for example...
that means looking for...
Acting Cthulhu.
Yes.
It's a set of supplements and books about World War II Gothic horror.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's no system in that, but at the end of every chapter or whatever, or whenever they're giving you a scenario, they give you the stat lines if you want to play it in Call of Cthulhu or if you want to play it in Savage Worlds. And Acton Cthulhu also has a skirmish game, so if you want to go for weird pulp World War II horror, that's a good set of books to pick up, because there's some really fun, interesting ones in there.
Yeah, definitely check out Modiphius for that one. Yeah.
One of the other cool things about that as well is that they've started up I think it's a section on Drive-Thru RPG and that kind of thing, where you can submit your settings and worlds. So if you come up with something you think's really cool for Savage Worlds, you can sort of make it look like a nice PDF document or whatever, and then stick it up, and then they'll help you sell it and that kind of thing as well, which I think is really good. So,
nice. Cool. Nice.